Hello, folks. So I've been asked several times to show how to mod Rifftrax from several people, mostly on Eugene's stream, so I figure I'd do a little tutorial today. The first thing you need to do, of course, is to find where your Rifftrax game is, of course. For most of you, that's going to be in Steam games. You're going to have to find where that is, then look for this. Then once you're here, you're going to go to Game Data, Streaming Assets, and this is where we're going to be working most of the time. So we're going to start with what I think is the easiest, but I want to comment on Assets Bundle first, because this is one of the few areas that you won't be able to mod. At least I don't know how to mod it. Easy for me to say in this stage. So let's go to Custom Sound Effects. And this is relatively simple to use, and it even explains to you in here how to do it. So basically, you're going to want to save any audio clip that's under 5 seconds. Simple enough, right? All right. So what you're going to need is Audacity here, or Audacity, whatever you want to call it. Now, this clip is slightly more than 5 seconds. It's a well-known clip. I won't play it till we're done, of course, because you guys have probably heard it a million times. All right, so all we need to do is just trim. If it's longer than 5, trim. And if the audio levels aren't loud enough, that might be something else you might want to change, but this is pretty good. Of course, oops, there we go. Yep, something we've all heard a billion times. Okay, so what you're going to do after that is go to Export, and it must be in WAV. So what you're going to do is save it like that. Then right now this says the Price is Right lose. Most people know it as the losing horn. So what I'll do is take that out. And there. And that should do it. So once that is done, like so, we'll move on to the next thing, which is now UI video. This is like the transitional that tells you what rounds are on. Several things should be of note here. One is these clips do not have audio, so you're going to still have the person narrating over them. All you're pretty much doing here is, if you do want to change it, is put whatever the round says. If there is a way to mod the audio, I don't know how at this time. So that's something for you to keep in mind if you want to change any of these clips here. All right, next. This is also fun, is the end clips. And just as stated, they're what's going to be played at the end of the game. So that's what I would recommend playing, of course, is stuff that is appropriate for that. Like, for example, this was made by Boston Soul.
Sit, Fontaine, sit. Good boy.
And, of course, that makes fun of the Sit Ubu Sit. I'm sure all of you know that, of course. So the next thing we're going to move on to is, let's see, explain that. Okay, so we are going to do the editing of clips next. So, what you're going to do is find either short clips or clips of, how do I explain this? Just videos that you find. It could be anything from, for example, I got a PSA here. It could be commercials, could be lolcows. It could be pretty much anything you want. And you're going to want to find something that could easily be made fun of. Any PSA can be made fun of. As you'll see here, it's way too serious. And even back then, they were as cheesy and as stiff as they are now. And boring.
My business is putting people on the highway, and we certainly don't need any more drinking drivers than we already have. I'm going to vote no.
My sister 6 years ago was critically injured in an automobile accident to the cause of a drunk driver on the road.
I'm opposed to liquor by the drink because I've lived in Atlanta, and I don't want a bar on every street corner in our town, so I'm going to vote no.
That's going to increase drunken drivers in the city, and it's unsafe. I'm just going to vote no against liquor by the drink.
I just realized I sort of jumped ahead of myself because I forgot to mention the first thing you're going to need is a video editing program. Specifically, one that's going to tell you like the milliseconds of time like that. Where is it? You guys should be able to see that. It should give you a specific timestamp like that, and I'll explain why in just a moment. So what we're going to do with this clip is take out any of the dead air, but also set it up where there is the joke and the punchline. And that's the easiest way I could explain this for you guys, because if you make the clip, generally speaking, longer than... There should be no reason why you should have any of these clips longer than 30 seconds, in my opinion, because rarely are they funny enough to keep it that long. And likewise, if it's too short, then there might not be enough information for people to make fun of the clip. So what we're going to do is go in here and take out right there. Okay, so that should be perfect. As you can see above, I've already edited this, so but I just want to demonstrate what you should be working on when you do this. So goes out. Then what we're going to do next, to me, the funniest thing comes in threes, and the problem, of course, in this clip is there's 4 people talking. So which one to take out? And I think the unfunniest one, of course, is the woman talking about how her sister was in the accident or whatever. Yeah, this girl. So what we're going to do, fade it back. We're going to clip this out. And I think it ends here. All right. Go back one. All right, so there. And so now we got this down to, I think, around, let's see, 26 seconds. Okay. So after that, I'm going to trim a little bit more because there's no audio there. Boom. Okay, so we had this originally from, I forget how many seconds. And you could trim it down even more than that if you want to. But as you can see, I already did that above. So we're going to get rid of both of these. So I can play you the finalized clip that I have. So you guys remember what it sounded like before? This is now what it sounds like.
My business is putting people on the highway, and we certainly don't need any more drinking drivers than we already have. I'm going to vote no.
I'm opposed to liquor by the drink because I've lived in Atlanta, and I don't want a bar on every street corner in our town. So I'm going to vote no.
Okay, so this is where the riff is going to be in this track, I decided. All right, so once you have it edited down like this, what you're going to need is a subtitle program. Now, some video editors are going to have this built in, some don't. So what you're going to do, there's a bunch of free subtitle programs. I'm going to put some in the description of this video. So what you're going to do, like for example, you're going to find where the clip starts. Of course, it's going to usually be 00. Sometimes it's not going to start that way, but it typically starts there. So we're going to start it from when the guy speaks to when he stops.
My business is putting people on the highway.
All right, so that was about, what did I determine that as? Yeah, that was around 2.5 seconds. So what you're going to do is put that on there, and that's exactly how this is going to look when it's on screen, by the way. So you're going to have about 2 lines of subtitles to work with. And once that's done, you're going to move on to the next one. And you're going to keep going until you're going to put in the riff. Now, this is going to do one of several things. One, it's going to mute the clip. Well, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. First, it's going to tell the game to silence the clip, and then it's going to mute it. So what you're going to do after you get both of these done. All right. So we're going to save this as... I've already forgot how to save these. So let's see. Subtitles. I forget how many PSAs I've done so far. Okay, so we're on PSAs 9. So this is just going to be called 9. And it's going to be... This is very, very important, by the way. You save this as a sub rip or SRT. But by the way, I think it's funny that there's an S. But you can't save it in S. It's got to be in SRT. So now we're going to save it wherever we want. So that's going to go there. I wonder if I can... Oh, yeah. I always forget that. You can't copy and paste. So save. Then we're going to do the same for this. And... All right, so we're going to wait. Now for this, you're going to want to save it under MP4. So in this case, I have that over here. And we're going to go find the place where you want to save that at. All right. Let's see. It should be. Yeah, there we go. Rifftrax 2. And that's going to be under, whoops, video clips. Find where I put the PSAs at. And boom, have it render. And there you go. Generally speaking, this process is probably going to take you between, depending on how long, 5 to 15 minutes a clip. It's not always going to be easy. But overall, it's fairly simple. So, once you're done with that, there's a couple I have not explained yet. So, and that is the pick for me and riff for me. And for those of you who've been on Eugene's stream, I've not done either of these yet. And that's because it's not the easiest one to do. So, let's see. For pick a riff, this works relatively simply. I think for because we've never done the pick a riff, but basically the riffs are all already done and you just pick whichever one. All you have to do is record an audio clip and just have the text here. So if we open this, it's going to tell you what that clip says. And as a matter of fact, when I play it, should take a few seconds for it to open.
Well, that led absolutely nowhere.
All right. So that should make easy sense for you. That is for those of you who want to play pick riff. As for the riff for me, this is going to be a little bit harder. I forgot to mention, by the way, you always got to end your clips with clip 001, and the one after that was 002, and so on. So, let's say we were doing one with PSA 9. All right. So we'll just do, whoops, PSA, then clip, whoop, and 009. All right. So we're going to find where that is at least for my sake anyway. Let's see, PPPPS. Oh, why can't I find it now? Oh, because it was right there all along. Derp. Okay. So let's watch the... Here's why I never do this, because this is actually the hardest work to be in this whole process. So let's watch it again.
My business is putting people on the highway, and we certainly don't need any more drinking drivers than we already have. I'm going to vote no.
I'm opposed to liquor by the drink because I've lived in Atlanta, and I don't want a bar on every street corner in our town. So I'm going to vote no.
That's going to increase traffic.
All right, so this is where the riff is going to begin. Okay, wow, I didn't exactly give myself the easiest one to start off with. But so far we have the southern motif going on. Let's say we're not doing locales, which is what we specialize in, of course. Although that does sort of look like a younger version of Gigi now that I look at him. Holy shit. I can imagine him being for the proposition because that's how he easily gets laid. He says, I'm for Prop 9 because it's something to that effect. But basically, what I would do is watch this several times, write down a bunch of stuff that comes off the top of your head, then scratch out the ones that are crap, and then record the ones that are good. And once you are done with that, once again, it's going to be all in .wave. You're going to put them in there. Then it's going to be in .text and .wave. In this case, Ninja, we're ready to get back to work, and it's going to be the same exact thing if you click the wave. So I think that should make sense to you guys. Let me see if I explained everything. Seemed like that was a little too simple. Yeah, explain that. But it's fairly straightforward. I mean, this is not like modding Skyrim, for example, or modding New Vegas, or any like really expensive high budget game. This is really easy stuff. The way I was able to figure out this could be modded was when I went into subtitles and saw .srt, because for any film snobs out there, you know that's a subtitle track. Put 2 and 2 together, I'm like, oh, this is really easy to do. So if you guys have any questions, be sure to put it in the comments. I'll try to answer it the best I can. And with that, I'm gonna put the sound effects and whatever I have in folder for you guys to download. And if you guys have any questions or comments, or if anything like that, you're more than welcome to do that. Thank you guys for watching and listening to my inarticulate ass. Until next time, bye-bye.